there, and welcome back to Build with the Boys. Well, better late than never. We finally got issue 77 of Hachette's Build the Titanic. Mine are late, so everyone else got theirs probably 4 or 5 days earlier than me. Don't know why. Mine have only just turned up today, so it is very late on a Tuesday evening here at Build with the Boys Towers, but I want to get this done because I've got other stuff I've got to build this week, so I've been waiting for this. This should have been here on the weekend, it wasn't, but you know what, it's here now. The four that we're going to be building, so we've got 77, 78, 79, and 80, all those will be coming up. The four that we're going to be building, there is not much to do, but what little there is to do is very relevant because it's all hull. And for those of you building this, you know, we're at the point now, we need to start moving on with this hull. So by all accounts, by the time we've got this one done, the hull's going to be a lot bigger, but ultimately we are banging in a few screws to get this done. But it is going to look nice once it's done, and it has got to be done. The hull work's always going to be relatively simple. Touch wood. I don't know what the back of the ship's going to be like, but it's necessary. It's necessary, and a lot of people have been chomping at the bit for hull. I have. I want to see the hull start growing. We are at that point now where, you know, 80 issues in, we need a significant amount of hull to start putting this deck somewhere. We need someone to put these decks, so we need the hull built. That's where we are. Let's get this one open. Let's get into this. There is one other thing I need to show you as well, actually, before we get to that. If you are a subscriber, you are offered the Titanic coin, the Titanic commemorative coin, which we do have here. I will get the camera zoomed on and you can take a look at it. It's very nice. I like it. It's not for everybody. I mean, a lot of people said they don't like it. I do like it, and it's going to go with our model. We're going to display it with it when it's done. I think it's lovely. We'll take a look at that. Then we'll get the build up and we'll get into this. Okay, so here is the presentation box that this coin came in. Let's pop this one open. There you can see we do have this. You don't have to keep this. It's the commemorative coin, 110th anniversary. It's 2022. The reason why 2022 and it's currently 2023 is this was actually a gift in Italy and France, I believe. It was one of the free gifts, whereas over here it wasn't one of the free gifts. We had to purchase it. But there is our coin, and really rather lovely it is too. It's lovely. Let's get this out and show you what's going on with it, because there is something on the back as well. Okay, so here is the back of our coin. Now you can see we've got Southampton to New York, the original route that it was going to be, and then we can flip this one over. You can see there we have it. Beautiful. That's absolutely lovely. So I'm happy with that. I like it. I mean, mine's a little bit scuffy, if I'm honest with you. But I like it. I like it. I mean, they're not for everybody. Not everybody likes commemorative coins and things like that, but I do. I think this is lovely. I think it will display with the model as well. I think it's lovely, and it will go with our Titanic collection. So there we have it. Now let's get on with the build. So here are the pieces that come with stage 77. I'm gonna have one large piece in here, I think. Maybe some connecting pieces. There's some screws there, Allen screws. Okay, what do we have here? What is this? Oh, washers. Very, very tiny washers. One very, very tiny washer. Wow. Okay, well, they're scared. They're gonna. Oh no, there is another one in there. I'm just gonna say what they're scared they're gonna run out. Let's see if we can get this open. Get to this washer. Yeah, so there is two. There we go. So we have two washers, and then we have the main piece of hull. So there we go. So that'll add a decent amount of length to this. L10 we've got marked on there. Flip this one over. So there we are. It's looking nice. So this is port side hull, the lower side. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up what we've got of the hull so far, and we're going to attach this to it. So this is the section we're working on. So L8 bizarrely connects to L10, just to make things a little bit more confusing. But what's going to happen is this is going to sit over here. Now, they're asking us to test the fit first, which makes sense because paint build-up and whatnot. It's a nice fit. Now, it's saying we don't have to use the washer. They're saying if your screw won't tighten completely, that's what the washer's for, to add some thickness to this, to make it kind of hold. But we're going to... okay. I've just managed to drop my screw directly into the oil. Lovely. We're using the 3-in-1 method. But I've just, yeah, without realising I hadn't actually magnetised my Allen key, I managed to drop the screw straight in. Oh well. Never mind. You can never have too much oil. And this should ease the transition. And then hopefully we will get a tight enough fit. Now, the Allen key shouldn't be so bad because we do have the room to rotate this time. So that's a good thing. I can already feel there's paint build up inside here. So I understand why we might need washers, because I won't be surprised if this one doesn't go. But let's rotate this down. Now, believe it or not, this is the only screw we're adding in this stage. But let's tighten this up and I'll see if mine needs a washer or not. If it needs the washer, fine, we'll back it up and I'll do it off camera, but we'll put the washer in. But it doesn't feel like it does at this point. If you want to do it, you go ahead and you do it. I mean, there's no washers on the other ones. So I think it's purely based on, you know, kind of what the fit's going to be like. Okay. Keep it going. That's it. That's tight. That's firm. I don't need a washer. Right, let's flip it over. Let's have a look. So that is how we are now looking. So this section's on. It's nice and tight. I don't need that washer. I just don't. I mean, plus I'm going to have another section going in here. Just don't need it. If you want to use the washer, you go ahead and use the washer. I don't need it, so I'm not going to use it. It's optional. But that one done. That's all there is. One screw. Criminal. We wait all month and that's all we get to do in this stage. But it is what it is. Let's have a chat. That's that one done. I mean, it's what can I say? It's one screw and it's over. I mean, that is the shortest issue of the Titanic we've ever done. But it's whole. We need whole. It's the way it is. So at least with the next one, we are adding the top section of that hull. There's a little bit more to do, not loads more to do, but it will start to look nice. And it's essential. I mean, I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking we're about half of the hull done. This is a long model. So we're looking at, 3 foot of, is it 3 foot or 4 foot? I think it might be 4 foot. Might be 4 foot. I'd say we're about halfway. We're about halfway of the hull done. So we have a lot more hull to do yet. But that's sadly all for this one. If you are just sticking around for those very brief build instructions, thank you for stopping by. If you're sticking around for our Titanic talk, we are talking about a myth of the Titanic. A lot of people believe this is true. It isn't. We're going to explain why it isn't, and also why this myth exists. And it involves this man. The legendary Charlie Chaplin, who was the biggest star of his day and was for decades. He was huge. I mean, it's not possible to state just how big he was. In an era where there were no film stars, he was a film star. So before he was a film star, he was vaudeville. He did his act on stage. And he'd made a name for himself already, and he was very, very famous. So you'll remember as well, this 1912. Movies have not been around for that long at this point, right? They're not a thing. A lot of people have never seen a movie, let alone know who Charlie Chaplin was. But so that's how big his reputation was. It preceded Charlie Chaplin movies. He was known. He was a really, really big star. I mean, he wasn't as huge as he was about to become. What really boosted Charlie Chaplin was World War One, believe it or not. World War One movies were shown to troops and whatnot, and Charlie Chaplin films were big hits. And it was also the great kind of leveler, because it doesn't matter what these were silent movies, and Charlie Chaplin's movies were clowning basically. So it didn't matter what country you were from. Fun is funny. There's no, you didn't need the description. Funny is funny, and a lot of people found it very funny. So the myth of attached to Charlie Chaplin and Titanic is that Charlie Chaplin was supposed to be on the Titanic. That's what the story goes, and there are different versions of why he didn't board the Titanic. There are some that say that he was offered a film role, didn't take it. There are some that say he was scared of sailing, didn't get on. There's one where he wanted to stay an extra week with a mistress. None of those are true. And the reason why none of those are true is because Charlie Chaplin was never supposed to be on the Titanic. That's page one. It never. So he wasn't booked to go on the Titanic. He wasn't anywhere near the Titanic when it set sail. He wasn't in the UK. He wasn't in France. He was already in America. So is it plausible that Charlie Chaplin could have sailed on the Titanic had it made to New York? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's a ship that, yeah, he could have had a ticket for it, but he didn't. I mean, he wasn't booked to go on it. But had Titanic not have had suffered the fate that it did, it would have been a backwards and forwards from America to the UK. So yes, it's plausible that at some point Charlie Chaplin could have ended up on the Titanic. The other thing that exacerbates this myth is that there is footage of Charlie Chaplin on the Britannic that sometimes gets confused. It might be the Olympic. The Olympic. It's Charlie Chaplin on board the Olympic, which sometimes gets screen grabbed. But this is Charlie Chaplin on the Titanic. It wasn't. It was the Olympic. And then the other one was he was always on the Olympic. No, once he sailed on the Olympic once. That was it. He also sailed on the Mauritania. The Lusitania, sorry, and he did also sail on Britannic. Never sailed on Titanic, was never going to be on Titanic. The other thing that sort of really hammers this myth as well is if you go to the Titanic Museum in Belfast, there is a statue of Charlie Chaplin, like a metal image of Charlie Chaplin. So again, there's kind of this assumption, well, that's his link. No, because it's not just Titanic that museum celebrates. So Charlie Chaplin's a link to the ships. But no, he was never supposed to be on it. So there were people that were supposed to be on it. So the Magnate of Hershey's, which we spoke about before, was supposed to be on the Titanic. He genuinely was, but didn't get on. But no, Charlie Chaplin never supposed to be on the Titanic. Never happened. So if you ever hear that, it's a myth. And you can tell, nope, it's just not true. Just isn't true. And that is a very brief Titanic talk, all about why people believe Charlie Chaplin was on Titanic when he wasn't, was never going to be. So if you ever hear that, you can completely dispel it because it's just not true. We will go into other Titanic myths as well, but we've got more about the actual factuals coming up. So in the next one, we are talking about the coal strike and exactly what impact that had on the Titanic and how it changed the lives of a lot of people. But we'll be talking about it in issue 79. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for stopping by. We'll be back, as I said, very, very, very soon with issue 80 of Hachette's Built the Titanic. We'll carry on with the whole in a world where you can be anything at all. Just be nice, and I will see you very, very soon.